Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I am excited about today. We've got an amazing guest on the show. I am also here back in my office. We're getting it built back here. Many of you have seen me sitting at my kitchen table here for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. We had hurricanes that hit here in Florida. And I have, obviously there's a lot of cat stuff down here right now. My two daughters and my girlfriend are hanging out over here, specifically my feline daughters. So we're ready to rock and roll. We've got an amazing guest. She's a stay-at-home mom turned digital marketer who's growing her audience through Instagram. So there's lots we're going to learn today. She's got over 100,000 followers on Instagram. She's crushing it. She's kicking butt, taking names. With that being said, Anna Lisa Moss, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to
Actually,
be here.
welcome back to the show. This is your third time on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like it wasn't that long ago I was on the other side of this and was, hoping I could make this work. And now it's my third time back. So really exciting.
Wow. So take us back to that for those who don't know your story, the moments, the days, the months that you weren't sure that it was going to work. What were you looking for? What were some of your biggest doubts?
Yeah. So, first off, yeah, I'm a mom of two little boys. And they're the whole reason that I started doing this in the first place. Because, I did not want to have to send them to daycare. I didn't want to have to clock into a job. And I really just wanted, freedom to be home with them and the ability to just, be the stay-at-home mom that I really wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, you know, they keep me very busy, and I love them so much. So they're, the biggest reason that I originally started doing this. And I had tried to make money online for about 10 years before I actually found Legendary and really learned the right skills to actually be able to do that. Um, I had done everything from drop shipping to Etsy to just, all the random side gigs. And it was like late one night. I had kind of given up. I was like, I'm probably not gonna find anything that I'm not gonna actually be able to make this work. And I was scrolling on Instagram, and someone had sent me a video about it was a 15-day challenge at the time. And I was like, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. Why don't I just try it out and see? Um, and I feel like something finally clicked. I figured out I had found something that I could actually make work. Um, and for the first time, it really felt like someone had explained not just, what to do, but why it works. And, that's been just the biggest change for my family. There were times where it was like, it's challenging when you're starting a business. It's like, is this going to work? Do I have the grit to continue to do this? But really, it's, some days you can give 100%, and other days you give 50%. But it's just about continuing to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like you have much to give. Bless you. Oh no, I can't hear you either.
Uh,
Oh, there. I hear you now. I
yeah.
hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm working over here with still getting used to technology myself after 16 years of doing this. So that sounds probably oh so familiar as for many people in our business, kind of the doubts and trying a lot of things. People like to act like this is the first thing that they've tried. But in reality, most of the time, if you're still trying, you've tried other things. And what do you think, besides the simple explanations that you got, I would assume through the challenge and through some of our education and community, was it that made the difference? I mean, oftentimes information or knowledge can obviously equip you, but it can also eliminate fears because you kind of know what to expect and you're knowledgeable about what you're getting into. So the fear of the unknown, or what you're doing is not as present. What do you think was the difference maker this time? I mean, was it that? Was it something else internally to where you flipped a switch and said, hey, I may not, every day may not be good, but there needs to be more day, basically screw my feelings, right? And stick to the plan. What do you think it was for people who can relate to your story that maybe flipped the switch for you?
Yeah, I mean, all of the above.
Mm,
Really, I think the biggest thing for me was actually learning the real marketing skills.
mm,
And I still, jumped in and like had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue. But actually learning the real marketing skills, because I tried to build websites and hoped that people would go to it, but really it was just crickets.
mm.
Gorgeous websites, beautiful websites. I had posted on social media for years, and it was like I still didn't know how to get people to actually care about what I was posting on social media. I'd post and pray, like they say. um, and yeah, I finally learned how to not just chase people down and hope that they would buy, but really to actually like speak to them and what they need and what they are desiring. um, so it was that. It was also, a huge help was the community for sure. Having just regular people like myself who are making it work. Seeing, whether it was a stay-at-home mom, I've seen older people, retirees make it work. I've seen high school dropouts make it work. It's, everyone from every stage of life that, you see them, and it's very inspiring to see if they can do it, then maybe I can do this too. And so it's really just a combination of everything, and finally being like, I see that I have these skills, and I'm just going to start applying them, and it might look really messy when I, get started. But like that comes, the less messiness comes later. It comes with taking action. You have to take action first before things start, getting smooth, and to be honest, it won't always be smooth even once you've figured out how to, do everything. There's still days that are just really messy.
Yeah. And when you say messy, I mean, what comes up for me is this hesitation to want to let others know that it's messy, and this embarrassment, this fear of looking stupid
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Whether it's social media's influence, whether it's our upbringing, hey, get it together, put on your Sunday's best, and, get out the door and hold it together. Again, there's social conditioning there. Then we get into the online space, and it's like a poster board of things to compare ourselves to. I
Hmm.
mean, everything from mother and fatherhood to, our how much money we have and where we live, and then of course how fast our business grows. I mean, there's actually people. I want everybody to step back and realize that, you know if you're comparing yourself in your business, like you're comparing your business growth to other people, you're probably also comparing other things too. It's not like you were living this totally peaceful life and with just a total focus on yourself. Then you just started a business and now all of a sudden you're comparing yourself. It's like that awareness that I can there's a lot of things around me that are priming me and training me to keep the focus on others instead of keep the focus on me, which of course reminds me of the quote, winners focus on winners, losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. And it's always coupled with that swimming picture where I don't know if it's Michael Phelps, but he's swimming ahead and the guy behind him is looking at him. Now, that's not to label people as losers. I'm making a point here that the comparisonitis that we all can suffer from is backed up by society and reinforced in so many different ways. And so, how have you kept the focus on you, and how have you been okay looking messy and stupid or embarrassed or whatever? Because again, I feel like every one of us has potential and talent inside, and it's getting out of our own way, like being okay looking messy and stupid, that actually gives us the best chance to be successful. So when did being messy and looking messy and it being like, how did you be okay with that? And I would assume things are still messy because they are for me.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with and be okay with looking stupid, silly, messy then and now?
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's still moments that that I'm like, what am I even doing? But um, first of all, like if when I first started, I blocked everyone that I knew on the first account that I started. Um, that account, I actually started a new account, which is my account that I'm on right now, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to block anyone. If people see my stuff, then their thoughts are on them, they're not on me. So but there's still days that I definitely feel like that imposter syndrome. I feel the comparisonitis, the self-doubt, just all of those feelings. I mean, they still rise up. you know it's hard. Sorry. They still come up, almost daily. But of course, it's like you have to think about what's more important to you. Is it what you're afraid of, or is it what the internal, the mental challenge that you face in your business? Are those what I'm more afraid of, or am I more afraid of not achieving these results, the desires that I have in my life? Choose which one is more important to you. And for me, it's constantly choosing, um, you know, achieving, being able to stay home with my kids. It's the ability to have the freedom of the time, the ability to travel more, um, the ability to have, enough to provide for my family. That my husband was working 6 or 7 days a week overtime just to keep our heads above water. And it's like, it's more important to me to I'm okay embarrassing myself if it means that I can have more freedom and all of these things that I'm hoping to achieve. And you know it's really just is about focusing on yourself. And you're going to have those moments where you're ashamed, or you're doubting what you're doing, or you're worried that it's never going to happen for you. But it's more important that you continue to show up and just put your head down and do the work. And you really just have to ignore the thoughts and focus on it's retraining your brain. It's focusing on what your goals are, and how you can achieve those. And it's really just um, moving past your fears.
Yeah. So I heard some kids there in the background. I would
Yes.
assume that's your kids.
Yes. Yes.
So talk to us about managing your time, and how do you what does a day in your life look like? Where do you fit in your work?
Mhm.
And how can we help others who are on here who feel like there's not enough time in the day to be able to get things done?
Yeah. Well, so when I first started this, my kids napped, which was a very big help for sure. They don't nap anymore. So the when I wish that I was a wake up early and get the work done kind of person, and that's still my goal. I'm still hoping that um, you know in the next few weeks I really can implement that. I just feel like my brain focuses better in the morning. But what I currently do is we wake up at the same time, and I have a full day with them, and it's just me and them. And I might post a couple stories during the day, but I don't get on my phone and do a lot of work during the day. It's really once they're in bed that I get a couple of hours of focused work doing social media content. I write emails. I try to get my stories drafted for the next day so that I can really just be present with my kids during the day. I do have one day a week where I spend, 2 or 3 hours actually filming content so that I really have it ready. I have it batched for the rest of the week so that I'm not spending a ton of time on my phone. And, I just feel like, when I'm sitting on my phone, my kids, the attention's not on them and it's hard. Um, it's kids need your full focus. Um, so that's really how I spend my time. It's really manageable. Um, as a stay-at-home mom, I mean, that was one of the things is when I first was starting a business, I'm like, well, if I start a business, it's going to take all of my time. I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to need to get a babysitter if I try to try to start a business. There's no way that I can do anything, especially on my phone. Sitting on my phone all day, there's just not going to be any time. And what I found is the skills are simple and they're easy, to start applying, and you don't need, of course you can spend as much time as you want on this business, but if you have an hour a day or 2 hours a day, you can get stuff done.
And it's like an hour a day means a focused hour
Yes.
of actual creation, like
Right.
whether that be writing an email and filming a video. I just want to be clear because an hour to 2 hours a day, let's say 2 hours, right?
Mhm.
So it is unbelievable what you can get in 2 hours. I pressure washed like half of my house on Saturday in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like by myself with my 4-year-old. Plus I was managing him, trying to keep him from not hurting himself, right? With a big, massive pressure washer that he
Mhm.
wanted to use the entire time,
Yeah.
which whenever he was using it, nothing was getting done, right?
Yeah.
So like focused time is means that you don't have other screens open. You're not researching and developing.
Mhm.
Like you're if you're saving videos and you're researching or you're looking, scrolling, you're that's like outside of the 2 hours
Mhm.
or the hour, whatever you have, because the hour has to be editing a video, recording a video, writing the email,
Mhm.
responding to DMs, and actually having quality engagement with prospecting people.
Yeah.
And I think the difference in what I do now, and I don't know if you can relate to this versus what I used to do before I learned marketing skills. When I was doing like network marketing, I had no idea what marketing. I was hunting,
Mhm.
whereas now, because of the marketing strategies that I use, I've gone from the hunter to the hunted. So when I do engage people, I can get more done by sending audio messages or using, if I have tons of people responding to post or something, I have an automated sequence perhaps that filters people and leaves me only the most qualified to talk to and to answer questions to. Some of you, I think that one of our biggest challenges is that we do things that feel busy that don't make a difference. Scrolling on your phone, or we go to our computer or phone with the intention of doing something, but we open our email or we open social media and
Mhm.
get down a rabbit hole. Is there anything that you've done to help you stay focused in those blocks where you block out time to work?
Well, I do want to add that, it is actively working on things in the moment. That's something I've really noticed is that instead of consuming all the content, I am now creating the content. And I feel like, there's that's really important to realize is that consuming the content will take up all of your time if you allow it to. It can take up hours of your day without you even realizing it. I think that people don't realize how much time they could save if they just stopped consuming all of the content all the time. It's just it's a huge distraction. But that's something that it's easy to get distracted. It really is because it's like you get on your phone and it's like 10 minutes later you realize, oh, I got on here to do something else and I've just been looking at, reels for the past 10 minutes. But something I do is I have on my Google Calendar, I've, scheduled a block of time. And it's just whenever my kids go to bed, I make sure that, before they go to bed, I've done, some of the chores around the house so that I really can just sit and focus and not worry about anything else. Because I feel like sometimes what's most distracting is thinking there's all these millions of things that I have to do, and whether it's clean the house, do the dishes, whatever. So I set a block on my calendar, right after they go to bed, and it just says, let me see, it says digital marketing time, reply to people, plan TikToks, I do try to do like 4 posts. I do 3 on Instagram and 1 on TikTok. Um, Stories, emails, move campaigns over. So that kind of helps me to just stay focused on the exact things that I need to get done, so I can like kind of mark it off in my brain. And then kind of once I'm done with that, I sometimes will get a little bit distracted and start doing a little bit of scrolling while we watch some TV at night. But
Yeah.
that's really helped me to just stay focused, is just constantly like always leaving that block in my calendar for this is when I get my stuff done. And I have it set from 8 to 10 p.m. Sometimes it takes me, less time than that. But that's been a really, huge help for actually getting the work done.
Yeah. All right. So talk to us a little bit about Instagram. What's working now? What do you think is different now from when you started? I mean, anything that can help everybody who's listening grow on Instagram, and not just grow views, or not even just grow follower counts, but also take audiences and both serve them with what they want while converting them into leads and ultimately into sales. What's your formula? What's your sort of game plan for Instagram in 2025?
So I will say, I think that when accounts are just starting out, they're in a different place than accounts that are at, 100,000 followers. I think there's a lot of accounts that when they're first starting out, try to kind of do the same things that people who have, 100,000 followers do. Um, and there's so many different kinds of content that you can use, and just because you have a lot of views on your content doesn't mean that you're going to convert those people. Just because you have a lot of views, it also doesn't mean that you're going to get a lot of followers from that content. There's a specific type of content that I feel like for me personally has worked in both getting a lot of views and driving the followers and then driving the conversions. And it's there's still things that I'm figuring out, even with having 100,000 followers. It's like there's still things that I'm testing and working on, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things is if something's not working for you, then test and try to find things that do work for your for your account and for your audience. um, I think it's important to have educational content when you're first starting out. I think that's really the type of content that brings people in, because they don't have a reason to follow you when you're, when you have 100 followers or 200 followers, or they don't know who you are. And when you start really providing value to those people, to your audience, they have more of a reason to follow you. So, you know, try to brainstorm what that educational content is, specifically within your niche. It works for any niche. You can find people who are doing really well within your niche and see what kind of content does well for them. And like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can find their content. I do not recommend copying people's content word for word and shot for shot. That is not a great tactic, but you can definitely see, what kind of hook are they using? What kind of, are they using a trending sound? Are they, what's the copy like? Like what specifically stood out to you that, in their content, and try to, reformulate that on your own. And I feel like that really helps in, creating really good content that converts people into sales. And also, once you start getting more followers, you can start telling your story a little bit more. When you first start out, you might not feel like you have, much that you can share with people, story wise. Once you start getting more followers, you can kind of start to tell your story a little bit more. And that also helps. I think that's a huge help in like converting people into buyers. And it's something I'm still working on in my content, in my newsletters, and trying to, write more in my captions about what's my story, how did I start, and how did I get from point A to point B, and how has this changed my life. And so I think for me, I think first focusing on educational content, and then kind of moving over to adding in more storytelling. And I think that's really important. And then also, don't be afraid to sell what you're trying to sell in your content, because I don't remember the exact statistics, but I think it was like people have to see your face 7 times or something before they actually buy from you.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid to show up and talk about what you're selling, because people forget. They forget what you're offering. They forget why they're there. They forget why they followed you. So continue to show up and sell what you're selling.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. If you switch it up or stop offering something, you're going to prove their point to them, which is that you aren't reliable and
Mhm.
they can't trust you, right? Because you're
Right.
not going to follow through on what you're doing. It's sort of like,
Mhm.
buying a Ford from somebody and then next week they're working at Chevy saying something different. It's like, damn,
Mhm.
they may even still like their Ford, but they still feel a little bit got
Mhm.
because, or if they didn't buy, they go, well, told you,
Mhm.
knew I shouldn't have bought because now
Mhm.
look at them over there at Chevy.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the educational piece because we often suggest this to people, but the biggest uh, limiting belief and or blind spot and or just lack of WD-40 in the creative kind of crevices of your brain, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has their own limits or limitations that they need to break through, including me. But I'm not qualified. What do I educate about? I don't have any success yet in my said niche. Um, it's just there's a handful or so of common limiting beliefs and or real roadblocks that people
Mhm.
have or feel that they have to
Mhm.
creating educational content. And I do hear you that finding other people's content and modeling that content is what is what you're going to be doing a lot of your career, right? You're going
Mhm.
to be looking at what other people are doing. You're going to be doing market research. I mean, the easiest businesses in the world are, for example, Walgreens or CVS, who has Band-Aid and then the Walgreens brand right next to it. It's
Mhm.
almost an exact copy, right? They didn't even have to put any effort in, and they've got some small ingredient changed or something that they can get away with doing that, and it's perfectly legal,
Mhm.
right? Now you mentioned, kind of swiping people's videos word for word and copying is not cool. And I agree with that. It's
Mhm.
ultimately not only you're saying the same thing as somebody else. So it's going to get found out at some point. You're also
Mhm.
probably going to get, you're going to get some consequences from the platforms because they're going to pick
Mhm.
up that it's duplicate content.
Mhm.
But what do you say to somebody who, or what are some tips that you have in terms of besides just, and I want to just let everybody know that besides looking at other people's content and modeling their content, if you see a video that's had been shared 50,000 times and somebody's given a tip about something on Instagram or whatever your niche is, if it's growing on Instagram or online marketing or whatever it is, if it's walking dogs or getting babies to go to sleep, if it's coming, and one of the ways that I actually, just as a side nugget, that I actually always and only see the most viral content is that I don't actually follow anybody. So Instagram just pushes me. I'm a new, I'm an outside of my own audience type of person, So I don't have any people that I'm following. So every piece of content that's on my Instagram timeline is something from somebody that I don't follow that's gone super viral on Instagram, right? And that's one of the ways that I see a lot of stuff that's really doing well and that keeps getting pushed out by the platforms. And of course, a lot of those videos I might save and say, okay, that's something that I can remix or an idea that I got from that. So let's set that aside. What other ideas, or if you go back to the beginning when you were just getting started, what other kind of ways did you educate people? Are you using AI at all? Are you using things that you learned going through education, which is to me the other obvious place? It's like, if you've gone through training, then it's the old learn, do, teach. Learn it, go try it one time, and then teach it to somebody else. Anyways, these are a lot of things that are coming from my experience. What comes up for you in terms of tips to give educational content at the beginning when you have no experience and you're starting out with all your limiting beliefs?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I do want to say I have been guilty of of, copying content, So when you're first starting out, it's okay to make mistakes. That's what I want to say is it's okay to make those mistakes. But, as I've
So have I, by the way.
Yeah.
So have I. I just want to say that I remember actually became my business partner, but I when I first started 16 years ago, there was a guy that had a funnel with like 5 videos as value-based videos that came with each email. And I was like, this has got to be the secret. I literally copied his videos, they were in PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever. I built the slides word for word, used the same colors, everything. And it didn't work for me. It just wasn't the same delivery. It wasn't the same experience. It wasn't authentic to me. So I just wanted to also match your honesty and let everybody know that this is all part of the game, baby. We live and we learn. We throw spaghetti at the wall and it sticks and it doesn't stick, and we live and we learn. I didn't mean to interrupt, but thank you for the honesty.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is just because it works for someone else, just because it goes viral for someone else doesn't mean it's going to go viral for you. So I think it is important to be authentic in your content. But yeah, something I have done is I've saved and I've watched these videos that go viral. I have taken the time to, watch them and kind of, see what are they saying, what are the shots, the what kind of video, like what are the shots that that they're actually recording, like what, from the first 3 seconds, what shot is that, what are they doing, the next, until, however long the video is. I've kind of broken it down and seen, okay, I can remake this on my own. I think I can figure out like what's the first thing that they're saying, and what's the hook, what's the actual copy throughout the video, that why does this convert so well, why are they so interested in this, why are there so many comments on it. I think that's really important too, is like seeing, I don't think people often break down, like you can see how many views people have, you can see how many likes they have, you can see how many comments they have, and how many shares they have. So I think it is really important to look at those analytics too on content that goes viral, because if you're just and of course you can't see exactly how many followers someone has gotten from a specific piece of content, but you can see all of these other analytics and kind of break down like, okay, why did this one get 100,000 comments or whatever, and this one only get 5 comments. So I think it's important to break down the video and see what exactly are they saying, what are they talking about, and can I recreate this in my niche, or can I recreate this with a completely different topic, but still kind of follow this formula for this video. And then, of course, I do use AI a ton. So you can go in and you can basically tell ChatGPT, hey, like this video, I want to recreate it on my own, but can you please give me, some ideas following this template? So you could go, this is the hook, These are kind of the shots, and this is what the actual copy is, and here's the call to action. Can you help me, give me some ideas, help me brainstorm on how I can recreate this viral content? So I use ChatGPT for a lot of things. It helps me, respond to people sometimes. It helps me write some of my emails. It helps me with my captions. I tell it I want a highly converting caption that implements storytelling and give me a good call to action, and it's amazing. So those are, two of the biggest things for me is really breaking down content and seeing why it works, and that'll take you to some time to actually do, and then of course using ChatGPT.
Yeah, I, as we're sitting here talking, I'm going back to when I started, and I think one of the best things that I did, and I remember this so vividly, and I want everybody to hear how powerful small results can be, is that I would get a small result. Like, for example, generating 5 leads in a day, right? Or even 3 leads or 1 lead or whatever it was. And I would then, I would talk about that result in my next email or in my next video, right? I would sell that result. No, it's not big. And many of you are missing the point in terms of like leveraging your own results and your own small little wins, because you think that you need to have big numbers and big wins in order for it to be appealing and attractive to people. And so I would say, hey guys, look, how would you like to generate 5 quality leads in your business every single day? Well, I've generated 5 quality leads, and I want to show you exactly how I do it and exactly how I did it, and how I did it on Instagram with videos that are less than 3 seconds or whatever it is, right? You want to make it relevant to today's time, and you want to talk about how you did it. But it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a huge result. You can offer a coaching, and I've been working with some of my coaching clients on, getting small, like setting up a process of giving away coaching sessions for free in exchange for a testimonial. And it's like giving away something for free at the beginning during your kind of growth or launch phase of your business, so you can get some traction. You don't even have to worry about money, but you just have people reaching out for the things that you're giving away for free. You can teach that to people. Hey, here's how I'm getting qualified leads off of Instagram for absolute free to book in with me to hear about my product, services, and the ways in which I can help them. And it's like, and obviously you want to word it to where it's authentic to you and true. I'm just literally spitballing here. So take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm brainstorming off the top of my head here, but I would sell, and I still do this. Obviously I sell bigger results now because I get bigger results after 16 years of doing it. But in the beginning, it was, here's how I'm converting sales from Facebook ads using $5 to $10 a day in ad spend. I mean, this was true back for me at the beginning. Here's how I'm growing my email list on a daily basis with hot quality qualified leads, absolutely free, off of a platform that you're already spending all day on without making any money. You don't have to say the platform. A lot of marketing and getting people to reach out to you or getting people to leave a comment down in your post for more information, it's all about curiosity. I think that it would help a lot of you to look at your content as the landing page, right? With that same kind of, because when you build a landing page, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a squeeze page, an email opt-in page, the first page of a 2-page bridge funnel, like we teach inside of our training, that's all about curiosity. If you give too much away on that first page, they're going to prejudge it and not opt in. That's why I say, if you're deciding between more text and less text on your landing page, always less text. Because if you give too much away, there's nothing left to be desired. I'm trying to put it in context of like dating or something, right? It's like, like as a woman, right? Like, hey, gotta first base is first base.
Yeah.
It's not a home run, right? It's like
Right.
we're not on the way to get the second date, man or woman, is to leave something to be desired. You don't tell your whole life story. You don't sleep with somebody on the first day, right? These are just kind of things that we all of us understand and know. So the same thing goes with your videos and with your opt-in page. You don't give it all away. You want to leave something to be desired, and then you want to ask them to engage to get the next step. So let me know that you want to go to the next step. Now, what does this look like in the dating world? Can I have your number? I'd like to see you again. A kiss on the cheek, good night. A follow-up text within 24 hours letting somebody know, right? So there's a show me the effort, make an effort, because I'm not just going to throw myself at you if you don't want it. So the same thing, the law of attraction, right, in terms of attracting people, right, is about asking them to engage and ask you to go to the next step. And so a lot of our posts and a lot of our emails or our opt-in pages, and even a good sales page, it's about giving enough away that makes them curious, selling a result, telling them what happens or what you've experienced because of this strategy or whatever you're going to show them, and ask them, would you like to take the next step? If so, send me a DM, drop next step in the comments, give me your email to opt in, right? And that, of course, is a form of a hook. If we go back to Gary Vaynerchuk's jab, 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 right hook, right? It's like value, value, value. Maybe I'm educating, I'm giving them information where I'm not holding anything back. And then all of a sudden I do a post where I sell a result and I ask them to engage in order to take the next step. And in knowing how to do that, which I just explained, and then also mixing your content to where you're giving a lot away, give the entire farm away. Don't ask for any engagement or don't gatekeep at all in order to get this education in a lot of your posts. But then throw in these posts where you're asking them, would you like this result? Or would you like this to happen in your life or business or whatever your niche is? If so, engage with me. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Tell me that you'd like to see me again. Text me let me know you had a nice time. Engage with me. Give me your email, drop a comment below, and I'll send it to you. What comes up for you? I'm ranting here a little bit and kind of trying to explain what I did at the beginning by selling a small result, but also engaging people to actually ask them to sort of take that next step. It creates a little tension between the two people or parties, which is a natural kind of progression of taking the next step, which versus being desperate or kind of not asking for something at all.
Yeah. Well, what comes to mind is I feel like a lot of the content that I see, either, people are overcomplicating it and they just, they feel like they have to know everything. They feel like they have to, share everything that they've ever learned, they've ever known, they've ever, whatever. And some people don't feel like they know anything. And on the other hand, I see a lot of people who just, they don't try to sell at all. So I think the two go hand in hand. You need to realize that you don't have to have it all together. You just have to, be in that position where you've gone from point A to point B. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be some massive result or some, huge thing that you've accomplished. You just, hey, like for example, with the $5 course, hey, I took this course, and before I took this challenge, and before I took the challenge, I had no idea how to, do any of this. And then I learned some simple skills, and here I am. Like now I'm showing you how valuable these skills are. It's simple. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing like, oh, I've made $1 million in my first year. Like it doesn't have to be crazy. And on top of that, that's, you know, unrealistic. And it's like people tend to not, you know, want to do something like that because it just, they feel like they can't achieve those results either. So I feel like, you know, showing up, sharing with people, you know, some simple things that they could start applying today. Um, I feel like that's the key, is just share, being simple with what you're sharing. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be over the top, and you don't have to be shoving it down people's throats, you know, 24/7. So
Yeah, I love it. And it is so much simpler than we make it. Grant boiled it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. Do stuff, then talk about it.
exactly, take some action, and then share with people what you've done. It's
I
very
mean,
simple.
I think that the biggest thing people are looking for, and this has been the especially your audience or your potential audience, they just really 99% of people just haven't gotten started yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're just looking for a reason to get started. So you need to give them and get started with whatever the new thing is. Selling is usually, you have to understand and know your audience. And usually when you're selling information, unless you're specifically targeting a medium or advanced audience who's like, the majority of skiers are going to be beginners.
Mm-hmm.
The black diamond skiers are not looking, they've already launched, they've already tested, they've already tried, they're already comfortable. If anything, they're trying new things on their own. They don't
Mm-hmm.
need somebody to get them started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with anybody, whether you're, again, teaching them how to train their dog, helping them with their cats. I mean, we've got 2 cats here, and they you know, my girlfriend just brought them up from her place, and you know, one's acting really skittish, the other one acts like she owns the place already. And it's like we're beginners if we were going to try to help this cat with her anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like
Right.
we're not advanced with
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just like you know, you sit there and you contemplate for a long time before you take action usually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we've traveled with the cat a couple of times. She acts like this every time. She gets freaked out. And it's like, but we haven't done anything because that's a big step. It's like, it
Mm-hmm.
takes work, it takes effort. Who do you call? If anybody has any cat anxiety tips, you know, we're open, right? But my point here is that we're in contemplation mode.
Mm-hmm.
We're in contemplation mode about that particular problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need advanced strategies about cats. We need strategies about how to get started helping this cat with her anxiety, right? It's we haven't done anything about it. It's also not unmanageable. She just freaks out and literally hides under the covers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can actually get a shot of her here real quick. I don't know where she is. Let's see. Is she under the covers? Hold on. Oh, there she is. See her? See her?
I don't see her.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I see her. I see her. Oh.
see her? I know. She's so
Oh.
sweet. And then here's the one that actually acts like, where's she at? Acts like she owns the place. She's under there. Yeah, she's kind of
She's Miss
hiding, but
Confident. That's right.
she's resting. Anyways, you know, it's always about helping people get started. So a lot of you think that you need to help people with advanced strategies, and it's like you really just most of the time need to direct people to how to get started with something.
Mm-hmm.
and and give them that encouragement, transfer that confidence to them that they're not going to die, that it's going to be okay, it's safe to start. You know, they're mostly looking at like the safety, the trust factor, like those kind of things, and a little bit of simple education. Like I actually think for a lot of you, just explaining jargon and acronyms to people would be so powerful, right? It's like, because people hear acronyms and jargon, and I want to explain to you, because you've probably heard terminology that you don't understand, and tell them that you're empowering them. Always tell them what you're giving them, because otherwise, if you don't sell it and explain the information, how powerful it is and what it will do for them, This will help you to feel more confident. This will help you not feel like you're an outsider. This will help you to realize that you're not as much of a newbie and dummy as you thought you were. It's just jargon. And once you understand it and you understand the components, there's some simple components at play here, probably even with a cat, right? There's some simple components at play. They're not complicated creatures. There's things I don't know about the basics of cats, right? And so that would be helpful for me to understand. When a cat does this, it means that. When a cat does that, it means this. Oh, that's really helpful. Now I can look out for those things, right? You, in a way, I don't have my glasses, but I always used to do this. You put the marketing glasses, or you put the cat glasses, or you put the baby glasses, or you put the pet training glasses on somebody, and you just help them see the situation differently so they can understand it better. A lot of times that's really empowering for people, and it raises the trust factor. So any final thoughts on that? I want to ask you one final question about the mastermind, unless you had anything else on those points.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I definitely, that's probably one of the most common things that I hear from people when they're first starting is, I just don't know how. And you know, they want to take the first step, but they just don't know how. Even with me sharing constantly how they can take their first step. I think it's just that first. It's usually that first step for people to take the action is they just don't know how. But
Yeah.
just to add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, click this link. Like, marketing is a lot about giving them simple step-by-step instructions and letting them know what they can expect once they take the action. Because most of the time they just don't know what to expect. Their biggest question is, what is it going to be like? Or how is this different than other things that I've tried? And it's like, well, here's how this is different. You're going to check out at this link. You're going to then go sign up. Here's what's going to happen after you check out. You're going to get sent logins, and then there's going to be a video, right, that you're going to watch that's going to explain to you the process over the next how many ever days, right? It's like that little bit of explanation. If you guys would try to be more detailed and more specific with people, and especially in emails, right? Like that's a place where somebody can read something and they've come more for that kind of business instruction, or they're reading more businessy emails, to actually lay things out and help them to kind of just get a glimpse. Doesn't have to be complicated. It's like you're writing to a fifth grader. Just, here's what's going to happen, Johnny, when you go to school. Here's what your schedule is going to be. Here's when you're going to have lunch, and after lunch you're going to take a nap. It's like, oh, okay, now I know what to expect. That's why kids thrive in routine. I mean, I've had a routine with my kids since they were young, a bedtime routine. We read the same books, usually. We sing the same songs. I've shortened all the songs. Where were you about? I only do one verse with my 4-year-old of multiple different songs. 1 minute of hold, okay? And I bring out the timer, and I pull up the 1 minute, and he hits the start button. Okay, then I set it on the floor. It goes off. I bring it up. He hits the orange button to stop it. Then it's time to crawl into bed. He says the same thing to me every night, the same sequence of hugs and kisses. And if that doesn't happen, there's anxiety, right? Because he knows what to expect.
I mean, I feel like with anything with kids, every time I've looked up a problem, the very first thing is always establish a routine. It's like, okay, that solves
And that can be
everyone's
true
problem.
too with your marketing, right? It's like establishing this routine for the show it's like people know what to expect. They come here. And I believe that's why a lot of shows do good, or content does good, is because it's at the same time. People know what to expect. Look at Oprah, similar format, man. Look at Jerry Springer. Look at the nightly news. Look at, like, you know what to expect. Oh, it's 9:00. Let's turn on such and such. You know, oh, it's Sunday afternoon. Let's turn on football. Like, football is an ingrained piece of our routine in America because it's been at the same time. And so being consistent with whatever content you're putting out, if you can try to add some elements of consistency there where they can kind of know what to expect, or at least let them know, as I said in the emails or in your videos, here's what's going to happen next, and just try that. Your stories are a great place to do that as well, right? Your stories are a place where you can free flow a little bit more and actually explain sort of next steps with people. Final question. You were in Austin, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, which was just a month ago or so.
Yeah.
So was that your first mastermind, and what did you think of it? What did you get out of it?
It was awesome. First of all, I was just excited because just to be around people who, I haven't been around people who are doing the same thing that I'm doing, growing businesses, and being around them in person was, it was just really empowering. Because it's like, okay, I'm not doing this all alone. I mean, I know I have like an online community, but having that in person was just a huge. I feel like it's changed my business in just the past month. I've also um, been implementing things that I've learned from the mastermind just in the past few weeks. I'm still working on some of those things, but um, especially hearing, some of the speakers talk, it's like, okay, there are some small tweaks that I need to make to actually like start driving those sales some more and really start showing up for people. And so I've really been implementing a lot of the things that I've learned, and it's helped, with my business. Just in the past month, I've seen incredible results from it. So, yeah, that was my first mastermind. I would love to go to the one in Nashville. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Any desire to ever speak
Oh
and
yeah.
present?
I would
Yeah.
love to. I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, it's the top of the hour. You've given us an hour of your business day. So thank you. I hope
Thank
that
you
there's
for
still
having me.
another hour left for other things that
Oh
you
yeah.
want to do, get you back to your family and your kids. Anna, thank
Thanks.
you for giving us, again, a third hour on Wake Up Legendary as well, folks. I mean, that's one of the things that's cool here is following people's journeys and actually you hearing, you coming to the mastermind, you being on Wake Up Legendary. There's always more engagement and participation that you like. It's like, oh, I want to step further into this, and I want to like really get serious about this, and like seeing that unfold for you here is really cool. And success leaves clues, right? It's
Yeah.
like your commitment and like treating this like you don't travel and pay for something unless you're serious about it, right? And
Yeah.
so, you don't come and talk publicly and proclaim this is like
Mhm.
part of Wake Up Legendary is like, okay, I'm coming on talking about this publicly. Like, okay, this is real now. Like, this is something that I'm doing. And so
Yeah.
congrats on just embracing it all.
Thanks. Yeah, these are skills. I mean, I can't get over them. They've really changed my life. And so I'm going to continue to talk about it as long as I can.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, stay legendary, my friend. We'll talk to
Thank
you later.
you. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, my friends. We have to christen this wall because that was an amazing episode. Oh, man. Hello. Can I get an amen? Can I get a happy Monday? Can I get a Anna's awesome? My Lord. I mean, it's too good. Hold on. New rug. She was so calm throughout the episode. I didn't want to scare her off or scare the poor sweet little kitty cats here as they're acclimating to this new space, just as I am. Again, my friends, I have been up at my kitchen table for the past 4 or 5 months since the hurricanes. My new studio, and again, don't look at this studio and think, oh wow, this is something that he just set up and has. No, this is 16 years. I finally have a studio. It's also seconds as my daughter's dance studio here. But it's 800, 900 square feet here. And it's just good to be back in my space down here. The business didn't stop. My business didn't stop, even though we had a natural disaster here back in September of 2024. But, keeping with my routine, right? Keeping with my routine of doing Wake Up Legendary and of continuing to run my business and show up and build my brand and do these interviews and deliver education. And, in some ways it's kept me sane through a lot of different chaos. So anyways, thank you all for joining today. A wonderful interview with Anna. She's the star of the hour for sure. And I look forward to the next one with her and hopefully seeing her in Nashville. And my friends, all of you back here tomorrow. We'll see you for another episode. Get out of here. Be great. Be legendary. Peace.